Good afternoon, my brothers and sisters. Yeah, praise the Lord. Now, my name is Gbenga Falade. I'm a fish farmer and a consultant. Now, I'm taking us through not just breeding of catfish, but the A to Z of a successful and profitable catfish business. Now, I'm assuming that we are all starting from the zero level. Now, if you are starting from the zero level, the first thing you have to consider is the water. It is not everywhere that you have water that you can do catfish farming. The water has to be tested. You have to make sure that the water is not acidic. It is alkaline. As the name goes, acidic water will be killing your fishes. Then after that, you now talk of where, the land that you're going to use. You talk about the ponds, the kind of ponds that you want to build. You talk about if it's earthen ponds, concrete ponds, wooden ponds. You do all that. Sorry, the next slide. The next slide, please. So after that is in place, you now go to sourcing for your baby fishes, which they call fingerlings or juvenile. Now, this is a very, very, very important and sensitive sector. If you are sourcing, you don't just go, you see, there are some farmers that their own department is just to hatch. They sell the fingerlings and the juvenile. But you that wants to go and buy, you don't just go to anywhere to buy. Because there are conditions that has to be met. You have to make sure that you make inquiries and know that, you see, the big fishes that they use in hatching, they are called bullstock. Those bullstock must be nothing less than 12 months old. Otherwise, the product will not be as good as what you expect. So this is a very, very, very key disadvantage that makes most farmers lose in fish farming. So you go there, you get your fingerlings and juvenile from them. Then majorly after that, now we move to how you stock. When you are stocking, you don't, you make sure that you don't overstock your ponds. In fish farming, it is not how many fishes you are doing that matters. It is how big. Somebody can do like 500 pieces of fish and make more money than somebody that is doing 2,000. Yes, you can. Because when you overpack the fishes in a pond, it doesn't give them room to grow. They don't grow. So you just keep feeding them and thereby you are wasting your money. So always have in mind that you're stocking. Well, I'm prescribing a 10 by 10 pond. Should not have more than 500 pieces of fish inside. Yeah. So after that stocking again, you go to the next slide, please. Now, after you have stocked, bearing in mind that you did not overstock. Now, when you start, the moment you start, let's say you are starting January 1st, in the next 2 weeks, those fishes that you have stocked, you notice that some are getting bigger than the other. So the next line of action now is sorting. It is very, very important that you regularly sort your fishes. And what do I mean by sorting? It means that you will, once in a while, if you want to sort, you have to drain all the water, bring all the fishes out, then put them on what we call the sorting table. Sorting table means that you are now putting them according to their sizes. You are probably bringing all the fishes out from a pond, from just one pond. But by the time you are returning them, you are now putting them in about 2 or 3 more ponds because you have now put them according to their sizes. That's very, very important. Next slide, please. Now, once you control your stocking, you do your sorting very regularly, then you now go to what the next thing, which is feeding. Now, in fish farming, when you are starting, you have to create what they call a feeding point. If the whole of your pond, let's assume the whole of your pond is this hole here. You don't just go feeding there. No, you don't do that. You have to make sure that from the beginning, you create a feeding pond, a feeding point, where all of them, once they hear your footstep, they all come to that area and feed. And by so doing, the ones that are filled up, they will leave the scene. The ones so that you can easily make sure that your fishes are well fed. And you maintain a time frame. If it is twice in a day, you make sure you come around 8, probably 8 a.m., then 6 p.m. And make sure you are consistent with that timing. Not that today is 9, tomorrow is 10, tomorrow is, you have to be consistent, because once you maintain consistency, around that time, they are very sensitive. They will have been hovering around that space, waiting for you to bring their food. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, we are going to the post-feeding. I wrote here, please note that under no circumstance must you drain water immediately after feeding, so the fishes don't start vomiting their food. Also know that you don't feed meal. Now, if you maintain your feeding position very well, now if you want to drain the water, make sure you don't feed them and afterwards drain the water, because it will start throwing them up. They'll start vomiting their food. And anytime you want to, if you are getting close to harvesting, you don't feed them before you start harvesting too. Then another thing about feeding that I must mention is that, you see, in fish farming, what you are really after is to maximize your profit and minimize your loss. A lot of farmers go into fish farming and they use what we call all these imported bagged feeds, which are very, very, very expensive. You could start with those bagged feeds for just about 2 months. After 2 months, you start sorting, and they should have grown to a stage where you can now be producing your own local feed. Your local feed can be very, very, very rich, that the fishes will be picking it up. By doing so, you have reduced your cost of feeding. So basically what I'm saying is that from the beginning of fish farming, there are a lot of secrets that are involved. You are going out to buy the fingerlings. All those guys that sell fingerlings, they cut corners a lot. They cut corners a lot. You cannot just say, okay, they are selling fingerlings or juvenile here, and you just go there and buy. The bull stock they used might not be very good. And there's no amount of feeding that you give those kind of fishes that they will grow. They will not grow well. So once the feeding is okay, the stocking is okay, the sorting is okay, then we now go to harvesting. Now, under harvesting, this is another stage that is very, very sensitive in the business of fish farming. Yes, it's very sensitive. Because most of the time, when you are harvesting, you are selling to the middlemen, those middlemen that go to the market and sell. And when they are coming to your farm, my brothers and sisters, they are not coming to pity you. They are not coming to pity you. In fact, at the time that you want to do your harvesting, there's nothing like a gentleman. Because they come with the purpose of coming to steal from you. They come at times, they might come like about 15 of them, might bombard you, all in the course of wanting to confuse you. There are some times that, well, if you want to harvest, you must make sure that you have your own scale. If you don't have your own scale, that's another terrible, terrible mistake to make. Because at times they will come with a scale that has been adjusted. When you are supposed to be getting 100 kg, their scale will be telling you is 70. So you must make sure your scale is there. Invite people to the farm that can be on your side and be very strict. The area that you are scaling, make sure that those boys, you permit only 1 or 2 of them. Don't let them cluster around you. Then there's something I wrote here again that if you know that the scale of the fish farming you want to do is big, then it's better you have your own hatchery. It's better. Because fish farming, if you hatch yourself, you see the fishes we have some we call runs, shooters. Aha. Those shooters, you can remove them and stop them throughout so that you have very, very, very quick development of your fishes. Then I want to pinpoint another problem, which is what most farmers in Nigeria, they experience. And what is that? It's the fact that, you see, in farming, the best way to make all your money is to make sure that the value chain, all the value chain is attracted to yourself. For instance now, if you are a fish farmer, you can try and get a shop, an outlet, where you'll be selling to the end users. Don't be going through all these middle people, because they are, in fact, all the stress that you have gone through, they are the ones making the money. They don't sell with kg. They will come to your farm and be buying at kg. Then something has skipped my mind. Under that feeding, you see, we will all realize that something can be very big and yet do not have weight. When they come to your farm, they want, if your fish is as big as this or that speaker, if it doesn't carry more than 1 kg, that's the money they will pay you. So how do you beat against that? What you do is this: when you start feeding, if you have a vision of taking your fishes down to like about, say, 4 kg, 5 kg, about 2 months before you're harvesting, you need to change the base of your food from protein to carbohydrate. Maize, in fact, gari, we give them gari, you mix gari with their food so that they will have big weight. So those are the key things. And like I said, make sure you have an outlet where you can always sell directly to the end user. So with all this, I think following the write-up from beginning to end, one should not make any mistake in the business of catfish farming. Thank you.